Hi everybody, we're going to talk about the Talkback episode again. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Hey there, my name is Jenny and you found my channel, Senior Perspective. Like, subscribe, and share this with a friend.
Yada, yada.
And the question was, do you wish that you left Kody earlier? And she said that her staying as long as she did, it was all about the kids. And she said she would have continued to be there. Like, she'd still be there now if he would have continued to be a father to her children.
Really?
Like, his behavior and reaction and lack of interaction and love and care and support and all that other stuff for Janelle's kids is what led to the demise of their marriage. Janelle said, "It's what I love most about him. He was such a good father. He was such an engaged father." We'll talk about the whole engaged word in another video.
It really came down to the kids. Like, I would have stayed if Kody had stayed the father that he was for my kids for many, many years. But when the relationship with the kids broke down, that cost was no longer a factor. So
at any rate, he essentially ignores his kids. He never reaches out to them. He expects them to just reach out to him. And he's angry at them for not. He knows how to be a parent to young children because I think mentally he's around that age. Once the kids got to the point that they surpassed him in their emotional maturity and probably intellectual capabilities as well, he doesn't know how to handle that anymore. And I think that's where it's all coming from. He still wants to control them like they're little kids. We cut back to a clip from episode 1 where Kody says the first 20 years of our marriage was pretty dysfunctional. This is him rewriting history right here. I think because we wanted it to be functional, we had a very different attitude about it. We were trying so hard, we believed we were functional, but we weren't. That's really, really hurtful because we all see the clips. We see how happy the wives all are with him. We see him acting. He claims it's all an act. But okay, we'll say it's acting, but at least he was acting very loving to them. The kids were all friends of each other and grew up as siblings. I mean, it's as functional as a polygamy family can be. A polygamous family is not functional. That's not normal. And so I think the wives did a really good job of making it as functional as they could, given the circumstance that their dad is sleeping with a different mom every night.
The first 20 years of our family was pretty dysfunctional. And I think because we wanted to be functional, we had a very different attitude about it. We were trying so hard that we believed we were functional, but we weren't.
So if he wants to call it dysfunctional, fine. Yeah, he set up the framework for dysfunction. But amongst that framework, those women did a great job of raising some amazing kids. We cut to a clip of Christine, who is not liking what Kody said there, and she basically just says, "Pisses me off."
No, that pisses me off. We tried. It doesn't mean we were dysfunctional. We tried. There were hard times. Yes, there were. But we were trying. We were not dysfunctional back then.
Mary says in her talking head that she believes polygamy can work, and she believes that polygamy did work in their marriage in the early years.
I do believe that polygamy can work. I do believe that it did work in those first years.
Robyn and Kody were presented with the question, do you still believe in polygamy? Kody makes a very strange face. I guess I could go back and look at it again. I just remember at the time being confused by it. It looked like he was insulted by the question. Do you still believe in polygamy? Maybe, or I don't know. Possibly he's just confused. He doesn't know how to answer it. I don't know. And Robyn's answer is, I don't know what to do with that. So Robyn answered her first question. She's made little comments to Kody, and she's asked him questions or added comments like she's the color guy. And he's giving the play-by-play, and she's supposed to just be adding color commentary to it. That's all it's been this whole time. There's been no direct questions to Robyn. Robyn hasn't answered any of the questions that were presented to both of them at all. She sat there just staring down. But now she gave a response.
Do you still believe in polygamy?
I don't know what to say to that. I'm very confused.
She didn't answer the question. She said, I don't know what to do with that, which is, it's an opinion question. This drives me nuts. Sometimes my kids, my young kids, students, do the same thing where I ask them their opinion on something and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, yes, you do. Only you know. What do you mean you don't know? That's an unacceptable response. When somebody asks you your opinion on something, if you don't know what it is, who does? It's just an opinion. It's not a fact. Do you still believe in polygamy? Opinion question.
Why are you making this so difficult?
And Kody says, ugh, ready? Nature believes in polygamy, and my religion still believes in polygamy. I failed so badly at it that I don't believe in polygamy for me.
I'm very confused.
Nature believes in polygamy, and my religion still believes in polygamy. For me, polygamy has just been something that I felt so badly at that I don't really think I believe in polygamy for me.
All right, I will agree that your religion believes in polygamy. Nature? Maybe some root animalistic behavior.
You're not an animal.
You've evolved.
Or have you?
Actually, there's proof that a lot of animals like to live monogamous relationships, but that's neither here nor there. Let's forget all that. Let's say that every animal just wants to procreate with every other animal. It's all just about having sex.
If you call that mindless, animalistic rutting sex, then yes.
It's not about having polygamy, relationships with multiple other ferrets. Oh, this is my ferret wife 1, ferret wife 2, ferret wife 3. And we're courting a 4th ferret at this point. He's so dumb. Because animals like to do it, and they don't always choose the same female to do it with, Kody believes that that justifies him having multiple wives.
Is self-serving, almost animalistic in nature.
Nature. I don't know. I thought this was your religion. Are we now following nature or are we following religion? Because really they're two different gods. We have a video clip at this point where Janelle says things have changed with Robyn. And this is also the point where Christine said that all those traditions stopped when Robyn came into the family.
You know, once Robyn entered the family, there was a shakeup, and I don't know if things were ever settled again.
We became very, very separate and the family traditions stopped.
Can I just point out, Christine never said Robyn put an end to all the traditions. She never said Robyn didn't want traditions anymore, so we stopped them. She just said, when Robyn came into the family, all our family traditions stopped. Fact. Kody's response to watching this? That's actually not true. All right, here we go. So we're going to rewrite some history again.
That's actually not true.
Kody said they continued. We adjusted them a little bit. Oh, no, the truth is coming out because he knows he's going to get caught in a lie here. So we adjusted them a little bit. We did a little tweaking where we didn't do them anymore. So it was a slight change from what we did before.
The family traditions continued. We adjusted them a little bit.
Kody said Christine is referring to their Friday night get-togethers, which ended in Vegas because the older kids were busy every single Friday night and a lot of the times on Saturday.
But she's kind of referring to our Friday night family gatherings that ended in Las Vegas specifically because our older children were busy every single Friday night and then a lot of times on Saturday.
First of all, there's so many things wrong with this. Okay, I do not believe that the kids were busy every single Friday night, that they couldn't have a family get together or a family dinner even, and then the kids could go out. Every single Friday night. The entire time they lived in Vegas, this happened. So they couldn't continue to get together. Also, what did he say? A lot of times on Saturdays. Saturday's a long day. Starts at 9 a.m., goes to 9 p.m. There's 12 hours. Those kids were not all busy for 12 hours. You could have carved out an hour every Saturday to do things together as a family. Fact. It's a matter of priorities. You also, at that time, your kids were teenagers and younger. You did have the ability to say, yes, you can go hang out with your friends, but on Saturday from this time to this time is family time. So work your social calendar around it.
Okay. He's 10. Who's the parent here?
And how about Sundays? Just saying. What's going on Sundays? Not much happens on Sunday mornings because the majority of Americans are off going to church Sunday mornings. You guys don't. So how about you all get together and do something as a family? Or how about you bring back church into your family? Get together, have your little Bible lesson, have a big lunch together, and everybody play Family Feud or some game. It doesn't have to be a big, fancy, elaborate thing to spend time together with family.
You gotta spend time with them.
Spending more time with the kids.
It's the only part I haven't figured out yet.
I have a note here. Robyn's hair, I have this capitalized, all caps. Robyn's hair and fidgeting is constant. Maybe I'll put a little clip in here if I remember of it. This whole video, she wasn't doing it as much, but this is where I think that she might be on something, because you notice how she made a response to the question. That's the first one. It's like she's starting to wake up now. It's wearing off. And so like the whole fidgeting and being nervous and uncomfortable, she is, even when she's not fixing and correcting her hair like she does in the one-on-one interviews, she's like pulling a section of it and she's just twisting it. And it's a constant touching of her eyes. And she's not crying at all. We had no tears. Lovely breath of fresh air. But she does still do the like touching of her eyes here. So we know that that is not always trying to keep tears away, because she just does it. Listen, I'm a fidgeter. You probably see often in my videos that I'll like scratch my head or push my hair like this, or I touch my nose a lot. I don't know why. I don't realize it until I watch myself back on the video. So I get it. I get fidgeting. But she takes it to a whole nother level.
Whole nother level, baby. A whole nother level.
So after Kody gives his false reasoning for why it all ended, Robyn said, "Oh, I hated it. It made me so mad that it stopped." And Kody said, "Yeah, well, they're trying to make it look like you did it." And Robyn doesn't even look at him. She's like staring off at this point. And she goes, "Well, they don't know who I am then." She can't even look at Kody. She's just like, "Well, they don't know who I am then." It's bizarre.
You sound depressed again.
I hated it. It made me so mad that we stopped.
Yeah, but they're trying to make it look like you did it.
Well, they don't know who I am then.
Nobody knows who you are.
It's like she's commenting from afar. This was a sweet section. Mary starts reflecting on the fun that she had in the past with Christine.
I get that right now, Christine and I do not have that relationship, and she has said, that she doesn't want to have a relationship with me ever again.
She said they had a lot of fun times. There was a lot of laughter between the two of them.
But I also look back at moments like this, and, I have a lot of memories, like a lot of good memories with Christine.
She said that she knows Christine has said that Christine does not want to have a relationship with Mary.
And I miss that, and I will cherish those memories, and I feel sad that, we won't have those again.
But Mary said even if they don't, that she will always cherish the memories of the fun times they had together, and she hopes that Christine will cherish and be able to look back on their time together with fondness as well.
I hope that Christine really does look at those moments with at least a little bit of fondness, as I do.
I love that, because I really do want the three of them to be like the three amigos and get back together and have fun together.
And amigos, they help their amigos.
When Mary is fun, she's fun. She's like a good time. She's like a girlfriend that I would want to hang out with. Then there's the other Mary, and unfortunately, there's quite a dichotomy between the two. But I think her therapy is really helping her work through a lot of that. And age and maturity and wisdom, you soften the rough edges. Mary adds that she's sad that it's over.
Aww.
Now, Christine is going to talk in regards to Robyn saying that Christine doesn't want anything to do with her or her kids. And Christine clarifies that at that breakup scene on the back porch of her house, she said that she's not interested in forging a relationship with Mary or Robyn at this point, that she wanted everything to stay as it was for now. And by staying as it was, they hadn't had a relationship in years. Christine said, Robyn claims that I said that I didn't want anything to do with her or her kids, and that wasn't true. And this was new information for us. Christine said that since that time, she has had no communication with Robyn's kids. And she mentioned earlier, she has reached out to Robyn's kids. They have not responded. I hope someday they'll be able to watch all this through and see, Mom, Christine never said she didn't want to see us. She just said she didn't want to get together with you. Now, I know Robyn interprets that as when you say something about me, you automatically are including my kids. I think because she never mentioned her kids, so she must just by default assume that when she said, our relationship is fine the way it is, that, I don't know, you can't even make that leap because Christine was still close with the kids at the time she wasn't close with Robyn, so I don't know. It's just Robyn trying to be a victim. We come back to the same thing, don't we always?
Round and round.
One of the questions that was sent to Mary is, Mary, do you laugh often to keep yourself from crying? And Mary basically says, nah, I've done a lot of work on myself in therapy. And she does allow herself to cry now. It's something she didn't do in the past, but she's learned to. And she said, if I'm laughing, it's because I think it's funny. That's not true. Do you remember when you were all nervous? It's nervous. She has a nervous laughter and she has an uncomfortability laughter. That's what she has. She doesn't do well handling high stress, uncomfortable moments. She just turns into kind of that hyena kind of laugh. She did it when she was in her kitchen at the counter and Kody was sitting there with the ring and she was telling him, I'm going to be moving to Parowan. As she was explaining that to him, she's like, so I brought you here because, and then she pulls it right back in and she keeps talking. She did the same thing at the picnic table scene during the breakup. It's not funny. There was nothing funny that was happening at either of those times. So I will accept the fact that it might not be keeping her from crying, but I do think it is an unusual and inappropriate response to her emotions, and she needs to work on appropriate responses. Kody at this time is the first time he's come out and said that he stayed in the relationship with Mary because of his covenant. He was waiting for Mary to break up this whole time, so he finally came out and said it.
The struggle between me and Mary was something that I was well aware of. I didn't feel like, because of the religious aspect, that I could leave Mary.
Because eventually we kind of hypothesized that that's what was happening because he strung her along for so long. She wouldn't break up with him because she believed in her covenant. He apparently believed in the covenant too and didn't want to break up. It's debatable if it was truly the covenant because he doesn't seem like a very spiritual or religious person.
Every time I get with her, the rub between our personalities was so raw for so long that I started to lose hope that we could get back together. And then in the last little bit, it was just like every time I'd see her, I could do it in small portions.
So is it the covenant that kept him there that long, or was it saving face? Or was it that Mary brought in a lot of money? During this whole time, we have a lot of Robyn fidgeting. She's like getting fidgetier and fidgetier. And Kody said that in the end, his and Mary's relationships were just, it was incompatible.
I came to a realization that I could not be in a functional, happy marriage with her. There's just no way for me. It doesn't make Mary bad. It just makes our personalities incompatible.
A viewer asked the question to Mary, do you think you stayed too long with Kody? And she said no, because when they broke up, they were at peace with it. And so it was good because it didn't end like in a big blow up. I get that. I just don't know how they couldn't get to the point of having peace with it 2, 4, 8, 10 years ago.
I did not hang on too long because at the time that Kody and I actually did split, we were both at peace with it. And I think for me and for us, that was a good thing.
Well, because if she really reflects, if she's really honest with herself, she has to think, oh, I could have started looking for the love of my life a decade ago. And all this turmoil that I experienced these past 10 years, I could have been living like Christine, who seems like she's the happiest person on earth. She has to be thinking that. There's a little bit of Mary still in denial here in these answers. But I do appreciate the fact that they got to the point that they were at peace with it and just moved on. Kody says that he thinks after the divorce, he and Mary will really, really, really get along still. Never, ever, ever. Really, really, really. Okay. Because unlike how I feel when I watch Janelle and Christine, I see the face of someone I think is a friend still.
I feel like Mary and I, if she doesn't get bitter after this divorce, can really, really, really get along well still.
This really bothered me because to me, this is him trying to still control and manipulate Mary. I think he knows because of the children, Janelle and Christine are gone. He's burned too many bridges with their kids to make them ever want to say, yeah, I want to be in a relationship with you still, Kody. Because if Kody is not going to be a great dad and not a great father, he's not the man to them anymore. That's what they fell in love with.
I'm over it. I'm done. That's it.
Whereas Mary had just the one child, so it wasn't as much about that relationship. She could give 100% of herself to Leon, her child. And she didn't need Kody to be there as a support and a helper and, boots on the ground kind of thing. I mean, let me just say, I don't want to be 100% cynical here. If Mary can still have a friendship with Kody and Robyn, and they don't mooch or leech anything off of her.
Is that possible?
If she has a clean break completely, and she just has a friendship with them, that's great, right?
I don't like that at all.
I mean, I don't like it. Just because I really don't like Kody. And there's part of me that just wants to stick it to him. It's not the Christian half of my heart. It's the other half. But that first half of my heart does acknowledge that, you just want people to be happy in life, right? As long as they're not being taken advantage of. I just don't see how it can be healthy for Mary to stay in a friendship with Kody and Robyn. It just seems like it's been so dysfunctional for so long. I don't know how they can make it better.
Because I'm watching this right now, and unlike how I feel when I watch Janelle and Christine, I watch her and I'm seeing the face of somebody I think of as a friend still.
And then Robyn turns to Kody and she goes, but you just said that you guys don't get along. And Kody said, well, we don't. And he said, we don't because she expects so much from me in our marriage.
You just said you guys don't get along.
We don't. Because she expects so much from me. There's so much pressure in our marriage.
Like a phone call once a year.
Outrageous!
A text on occasion asking how I'm doing.
She's so demanding.
Maybe a thank you note when I throw in a ton more money into the family pot. I don't know. Is it too much to ask from a husband, like a kiss on the cheek on occasion once a month, maybe? I don't know. Mary's so demanding. So Kody says, we don't get along because she expects so much from me in our marriage. But now that we're divorced, I miss her and I think about her.
That's what it is. There's so much pressure now. The divorce. I miss her. I think about her. I'm like, she's my friend, but I'm not.
See?
And Robyn wakes up from her stupor. She smiles and she turns and she's like talking to the producer or camera or whoever is there. I know there's a camera on a tripod, but they don't seem to be mic'd up. So I don't know if she's just talking to the camera, but she's like, see? This is like the proof of why she's been keeping Mary around this whole time. He still likes her. I knew it.
So there's still a chance.
Gosh, Kody's such a manipulator. Now that we're divorced, I miss her and I think about her. Reel her back in. He's realizing how much money he's out. Oh. But I have all kinds of exclamation marks and comments and things circled here on my notes in regards to Robyn's response. Like, boom. I wrote AAO on here, which is awake, alert, and oriented. So in the medical setting, when you're charting, the code for when you go in to see a patient, you have to write a SOAP note, and SOAP is subjective information, objective information, assessment, and then plan. So as a speech language pathologist, you have to write a SOAP note with every interaction. I still do. With every kid that I see in the online therapy, I write a SOAP note at the end of each therapy session. Well, under the letter S for subjective information right now, I would write something to the effect of on time, in a good mood, excited to share about their weekend, or something like that. You know, it's just kind of an overall subjective thing. In the medical setting, we would just write AAO, meaning they're awake, they're alert, and they're oriented to their environment. And that's why I have this down here. Robyn is now awake, alert, and oriented. She has joined the living again.
Initially unresponsive, but now alert and oriented.
There's a question that's now presented from the viewers to Kody. Actually, it's probably presented to all of the people. So Kody and Robyn get another iPad question that said, how do the parents feel that not one kid is interested in living plural marriage? And Robyn gave her first direct answer of a question. We're basically at the end of the episode. Robyn has woken up. The drugs have worn off. She's looking around. Her eyes are up.
Welcome back.
And she's answering a question. She said, I think it's fine either way, and it's about their path. Well, hello, Kody. How did Kody get into your body, Robyn? Another non-answer. The question was, how do you feel about the fact that so far none of the kids have chosen polygamy? I'm happy about it. I'm sad about it. It disturbs me. I didn't think they would. Society's changing. Like, what are your opinions about your fact that your kids are not choosing to do the same polygamous lifestyle that you live? I think it's fine either way. It's not, what is your opinion on polygamy, Robyn? It's, what do you think about the fact that kids haven't chosen it? It's a different question. We don't get the answer. Kody's answer, though, Kody's non-answer, though, is, one of my wives told me she wished none of her kids would live plural marriage because she thought it was too hard. Okay. Which was Christine, because then Christine responds also later on. But is this not classic? What do you think about your kids? This is a question about the kids. What do you think about the quiz? Robyn, non-answer. Kody, Christine. Christine, one house. Those are my answers for everything. Christine's fault. One big family, one house. He gives that same answer to every question. Here we go again. It's now Christine's fault. One of my wives told me. Okay, moving on. We cut to the Salsa Brava scene, which I roll, right? How many times can we see Salsa Brava?
Imagine how awkward it is to be a waiter at Salsa Brava in Flagstaff. Every week a different brand is dissolving their family in booth 15 and they're just trying to refill the waters. That's really funny. That is really funny.
But this is episode 1, so it's the first time we've seen Salsa Brava, and it's the time that Christine met Kody there. Probably the best Salsa Brava scene. No, I kind of liked it when Janelle told Kody she wanted to stay separated. Personally, that was the most satisfying Salsa Brava scene for me.
Me too.
So in the scene, there's cuts away from the scene, of the talking heads, and the talking head had Kody saying he was upset because Christine talks him. I don't even know that is, as much as I hate that term, I still think it's grammatically used incorrectly. Wouldn't it be she talks about him? I don't know. It's crude middle school language grammar. I'll have to go to the dictionary to figure it out. Not my thing. Kody's thing, not my thing. All right, so that's the scene where he first said that. And we cut to Christine now responding to that. And she's like, I did not. And she adds, I listened to my kids.
I didn't talk Kody to his kids. His kids talked to me, and they were sad, they were frustrated, and they wished they had a relationship with their dad. And I validated how I felt.
And validated how they felt. It sounds like she said, and validated how I felt, which is a little confusing. We may be able to blame this on the wine. I'm not sure.
Not even drunk. You're very drunk. I'm not drunk like that.
I talked about my heartache, and I was heartbroken, but I talked about how I didn't want plural marriage either anyway.
Christine did add that in these conversations, she did share about her heartbreak. No details, but she said that she did share about her heartbreak. So Kody's interpretation of that is, you're saying bad things about, you're talking me simply because when facts are stated about Kody and they're not favorable, truths, but not favorable, he calls that talking. We cut to Janelle, and she says Kody is always saying how much he sacrificed for the marriage and relationships.
Kody has this thing where he's like, I've done so much, I've sacrificed so much for this relationship. That right there is a red flag. If he feels like he had to sacrifice for the relationship, maybe it's better if it's over.
That is a red flag. And maybe it's better that it's over.
Because it's a two-part equation in a marriage. They both were doing the work, but he wants to act like he did a Herculean effort for this marriage, and how dare she betray him.
They show the scene where Christine says, I'm going to come down, I'm going to bring Truly and the kids to you. They'll be there. You can visit with them between Christmas and New Year. And Kody right away just said, can you test before you come? And, Christine was a little put off by that. Like, I thought his response was going to be like, yay, the kids are coming. She said he didn't act excited at all. The first thing out of his mouth was about COVID again.
Well, Aurora hasn't had COVID.
I thought Kody would have gone, oh my gosh, that's cool. You're going to bring the kids so they can see me. That's awesome. I'm really glad I get to see my kids again over Christmas. That's going to be cool. But no, what he did was bring up freaking COVID.
At this point, because COVID's brought up, Christina's talking about how when Kody got sick, the whole world stopped. Like, he's not a good sick person.
Every time that guy got sick, it was like the whole world revolved around his being sick.
COVID was overwhelming for me. Not being able to sleep and not being able to breathe.
Robyn looks confused, and she looks over at Kody on the couch like she doesn't agree with that. We cut to Mary, who's laughing as she's watching it, and she goes, she's not wrong. All right, so we have two moms confirming it right now. And Kody, very demanding, tells Robyn, do you got something to say about me being sick? Because it's a total contradiction to what she says. So he already knows what she's going to say. He already has it all planned out, what her response is going to be, because he knows what the response is going to be, and it's going to be a total contradiction. I think that's great.
Something to say about what it's like when I'm sick? No, I do. Because it's a total contradiction what she says.
I know. You were sick, and you kept taking care of kids while I was like on my deathbed, basically.
And after he says that, as he's saying that, Robyn is laughing. It's kind of a weird place to laugh, but okay. I'm like, okay, we are more and more and more awake. I really think they need to restart the interview now that she's present with everybody and she can answer the questions. Anyway, Robyn says, you were sick and you kept taking care of the kids while I was like on my deathbed, basically.
What a load of crap.
Oh, please. You weren't on your deathbed. You literally admitted yourself into the hospital and they turned around and discharged you the same day. You were fine. You were not on your deathbed. And Kody was even less. He couldn't even get admitted into the hospital because he didn't even have a fever. It was like 99 something. Slightly elevated, which some of us have that on a normal basis. Some people have temperatures that register a little bit higher. And I know for a fact that it has to be 100.4 based on the CDC because during COVID, I still ran my scrapbooking events where all the women would come. We just made sure we were 6 feet apart. We wore masks and I had a little gun and took their temperatures every day so that we would be in compliance with the CDC. And it was 100.4. It was above 100.4. He wasn't even at 100, 99 something. 98 is normal. 98.8, I think, is normal, isn't it? Okay, we're not going to keep going about that. That made me so angry, that whole scene. People who were really sick. Oh, and for them acting like. Okay. So she said she was on her deathbed, and so he was still taking care of the kids. Well, yes, he's their father. Isn't that what happens in every household? Honestly. If two parents are sick, the one that's the least sick, or usually the mother, but if it's not the mother, if she's too sick, then it's the father who continues to take care of the kids. Mind you, there were teenagers in the home. They had help. And the nanny was still coming over. She already had COVID beforehand, so she was probably there doing it all. I don't believe for a second Kody was Mr. Superhero Man. But she claims he was, and he's agreeing with her, right? Okay, so let's just take him at face value. Okay, he was great. He was taking care of the kids and doing everything while she was on her deathbed, basically. She said, you just kept pushing. Well, yes, his fever didn't even break 100.
You just kept pushing.
And she adds, you didn't know how to lay down and be sick. It's not my experience.
You didn't know how to lay down and be sick. So it's weird that I don't know where that word that comes from her, but it's not my experience with you.
Okay. Remember those words. Because the next thing I have here is the quote from Kody and the talking head from the interview now, because they just got finished saying he was a superhero. He took care of everything. He didn't even know how to be sick. He didn't know how to. And they cut to the, which is brilliant. They cut then to the episode 1 where Kody is saying, I was in the fetal position on the floor sobbing. And Robyn's nodding. So was he in the fetal position on the floor sobbing? Or was he the superhero taking care of the whole family while you were sick? Like, they can't get their story straight. It's so insane.
I was in the fetal position on the floor sobbing. Oh, I'm not laughing.
She just got finished saying how he wasn't a baby, and now he's saying how he was a baby, and she's nodding her head. I don't think he was in the fetal position. I think that was complete fabrication and lie. I've said this before. I had a ruptured appendix about 7 years ago. I didn't go to the hospital for over 24 hours afterwards because it was like, oh, it really hurts. But like, if I just lay like this, I'll be okay. It was a really bad one too. It was even gangrene. I mean, it was bad. The surgeon was shocked. A lot of pain. Tell you what, never got in the fetal position on the floor. And you know what else? Never sobbed. I just eventually said, this is really bad. I need to go to a hospital. I can't with the theatrics. I just can't. I don't have patience for it.
Start manning up.
There's a segment where Christine was laughing at Salsa Brava talking about Gwendolyn's reenactment of Kody on the phone when he had COVID. Kody goes through his list of, I wasn't laughing when she left, I wasn't laughing when this happened, I wasn't laughing when that happened. Well, that has nothing to do with it. She's not laughing at all those things. Gwen wasn't laughing at that either. Like, unrelated. But thanks for sharing, Kody. So dumb. So dumb. Irrelevant.
I'm not laughing here. I'm not laughing. I haven't been laughing with her leaving. I've never been laughing about this thing. She asked me to stop staying at her place. I wasn't laughing then. She moved my stuff into the garage. I wasn't laughing then. She left with Truly, and she left early. I wasn't laughing then. I've never been laughing about this.
She was laughing at how ridiculous you were acting on the phone when you were sick. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about when Christine left, but thanks for bringing it up again. This is a new topic. Christine and how she left and how you're upset about it. I have a note here that for the end of this episode, which there's not much time left, but the whole rest of the time, Robyn's watching the television. She's looking at the TV the whole rest of the time, even when another wife is on it. So like we are back. We are back with the world right now. Awake, alert, and oriented. Kody notes that the end of that episode ends with Christine laughing at him.
Yeah, that's the end. Any thoughts? It's funny, it ends with her still laughing at me and saying, I'm so glad I'm not married to him. I'm sorry.
But then he laughs about the fact that Christine's laughing at him at the end of the episode. So I don't know. What does that mean? We cut to the scene where Christine says that she was really happy. The day she left, she was really happy.
I loved the day I said it was over. I loved that day. I loved taking power. I loved taking control of it. I loved ending our marriage.
So at the very end, Kody says, it sucks being in a place with someone who you used to love, that, who used to talk well of you and stuff like that.
It sucks being in a place with somebody who you used to love, that, who used to talk well of you and stuff like that, to sit and just trash talk you.
Not only didn't you love her, you didn't even like her.
To sit and just trash talk you and say stuff like, I am so lucky I'm not married to him anymore.
And say stuff like, I am so lucky I'm not married to him anymore. That's just...
I'm sorry. Oh, why does that make me laugh? Because Christine was laughing probably during it. But I just want to say trash talk was in here. So I hope that you've been keeping up, because we have the ongoing drinking game where every time Kody says trash talk or shit talk, we take a shot. He says, I thought he was going to be happy to see his kids on Thanksgiving Day, and instead he starts talking about himself again. A little nugget of information we didn't know before. It was kind of taken out of context, but I appreciated it.
I thought he was going to be happy to see his kids on Thanksgiving Day, and instead he starts talking about himself again.
Thank you, editing department, even though it didn't really fit there, that you decided we just need to put this in the episode. Robyn said, if they would have seen how bad you were, Kody. And then Cody's like, you mean COVID? Like, we're on to another topic, Robyn. Keep up. Come on.
I think it's just like anger from everything. Because if she had seen how bad you were, Kody, I don't know.
Oh, you mean how bad I was during COVID?
Yeah.
Cody's like, you mean COVID? And she said, yeah, you were beside yourself. I have never seen you like that before. You lost your optimism.
You're beside yourself. Beside yourself. I've never seen you like that before. You lost your optimism.
I haven't got it back.
Okay, so I just want to stop there for a second. She's coming out and saying, this is how Kody acts when he's sick. You're beside yourself. I've never seen you like that before. You lost your optimism. But back here, he was Mr. Superhero, taking care of everybody and not complaining and not knowing how to be sick. It's just all lies. You have no idea what to believe because they completely contradict themselves. Kody says he hasn't gotten his optimism back since then, which is sad if true. I don't understand why being sick made him lose his optimism, but
that doesn't make sense.
I could go on for an hour about how the family fell apart and why his optimism should be gone and what his behaviors word that contributed to that situation, but we're at the end of the video.
Praise God.
At the very end, Christine is reflecting and she said that she would someday be friends with Kody again. She's willing to.
Oh, come on, girl. Do you really want to be friends with Kody? Wouldn't you rather just never see him again? We were great friends before we got married, and even throughout our marriage, several times we were really good friends. I think it'd be great to be friends again, though. I really do. It's too soon, though, Nicole.
Which I thought was huge, because there for a whole year she was saying, I have no desire to be friends with this man or ever see or talk to him ever again. And now she's like, because you know what? She's moved on. She's not emotionally connected at all to him. And so she's ready to be friends with him. I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't think he can ever get himself there. I think he's too bitter and too resentful, too prideful, too selfish.
To name a few.
I don't think he could ever forgive her. But I like that she said I could do it. And I like that Mary said that she would like to do it with Christine as well. So we'll see what happens. This marriage to David might just make a new Christine where she just opens her heart, and I can never see her being friends with Robyn, but become friends with Mary again maybe. I don't know.
It's really weird to watch this because it seems like so much has happened since then. It seems like almost like another lifetime.
It's hard to, honestly, for me, I'm glad that I'm past all that. The emotions that I had then, I'm past. I'm in a better place, physically, emotionally. It's hard to watch yourself, but then it's also hard to watch yourself being so vulnerable, but I'm proud of the quality.
It feels a little strange to be able to tell you what's going on in my head when I watch these episodes. Maybe it's liberating, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, I don't know.
It's just so raw, and it's the hardest times of our life.
All right, end of the video. Thanks for sticking it out. But later on, I hope to record Sunday night's look back episode, which isn't as good as the talk back, but I'll cover it nonetheless. Bye, everybody.
He exhausts me.
Me too.
I think it's time for a drink.